Hello everyone, thank you for being here. We are Group 4. Our company of choice was UPS, and today we're going to talk about UPS's strategy. We're going to analyze it and we're going to suggest improvements. So now let us begin with the overall business model and strategy of UPS. So the core services provided by UPS are twofold. First things first, there is of course domestic shipping within or inside of the United States by means such as UPS Ground, UPS Next Day Air, and so on and so forth. The second one being international shipping to, for example, countries like Canada with UPS Worldwide Express, Worldwide Saver, and so on and so forth. Additionally, UPS provides freight services for larger, heavier, bulkier palletized cargo by air, ocean, or ground by means of full truckload or FTL, and so on. Additionally, UPS provides a number of value-added services. So for example, UPS has an entire distribution center management sector. Additionally, an e-commerce platform where businesses, especially for example small businesses, are able to purchase their products. White glove services where UPS is tasked with delivering high-value goods such as jewelry or precious metals. As well as financial services such as cargo insurance or payments on delivery when the cargo is already delivered and the uh, person pays for the cargo upon its delivery to the address, as well as general asset leasing and customer technology such as application programming interfaces, different digital tools, real-time tracking, and so on. Now, on to business strategy. Now, UPS is founded on three specific pillars. The first one is the idea that customer always comes first. The second one is the idea that UPS is a people-led corporation. So, for example, UPS employs a number of workforce management techniques such as the Comprehensive Health and Safety Program to support its workers. And additionally, UPS is highly aware of the risk factors of the labor relations. And the third pillar is the fact that UPS is an innovation-driven company. So in other words, for instance, UPS went from scanning technology to a sensing technology, where rather than scanning barcodes and QR codes, the sorting centers and sorting facilities rely on sensing technology for better operations, as well as other examples such as facility automation, digital systems, and tracking technologies in general. Another aspect of their strategy is the logistics and supply chain management sector altogether. So UPS relies on a network architecture. So for instance, the hub and spoke model. The hub and spoke model takes a single airport, as a single central airport, as a central hub for delivery. So for instance, in the United States, that central hub would be in Worldport, Louisville. Another aspect in the context of logistics and supply chain is the Orion system, which is an optimization of driver rides. Orion stands for On-Road Integrated Optimization and Navigation. In essence, it's a system that looks at the packages that a driver has to deliver, it looks at the addresses where those packages ought to be delivered, and it creates the most optimal route possible. And lastly, UPS generally relies on its own operational resilience, such as having flexible capacity for peak seasons by, for example, employing temporary workers as well as a reliance on artificial intelligence for price prediction, load planning, predictive maintenance, risk planning is another aspect of its resilience, understanding the weather threats and supply chain management shocks, and other regulation issues and general overall risks.
Thank you, Matt. Hi, everyone. We'll now examine the research that validates UPS's strategic shift, looking closely at the SWOT analysis and the critical quantitative data-driven the network reconfiguration initiative, or NREI. Let's start with UPS's foundation. The strengths are clear. They operate a massive global network and maintain an industry-leading 96.5% on-time delivery rate. Their high-tech advantage, especially the Orion system, saves 10 to 14 miles per route daily, that boosting efficiency. However, the weaknesses are immediate costs. The largest is the financial burden of restructuring costs, closing facilities and laying off nearly 48,000 people this year. Looking forward, the main opportunities are targeting small businesses and expanding the profitable cold chain healthcare market. The primary threat remains fierce competition from rivals like Amazon Logistics and FedEx DHL. Now, this brings us to the quantitative proof that the strategy is working. The better not bigger approach is successful. Pricing success. UPS is attracting higher value customers, proven by the 2.4% increase in revenue per piece in US domestic. Profitability. Their focus on cost control has resulted in an adjusted operating margin of 12.3% in fourth quarter 2024. This confirms they are making a better profit from their total revenue. The investment, the NREI is not cheap. It requires spending 300 million to 400 million in 2025 on restructuring activities. The return, this short-term cost is necessary to hit their ultimate goal, which is 1 billion in long-term savings. Finally, our qualitative analysis highlights the biggest operational risk, which centers on execution and people. The weakness, the challenge is successfully launching the NREI from 2025-2027. The main operational weakness is the risk of service failing. The risk of facilities. Closing up to 10% of facilities will be an extreme challenge. They must maintain their high service quality during this period. The risk of model. Laying off 48,000 jobs is a massive deal. If not handled strictly, the remaining employees will lose model, and service quality will decline significantly. The critical KPI here is the 96.5% on-time delivery. Failing to maintain this trust due to poor change management will lead to customer churn, undermining the entire strategy. Successful NREI execution is the only way to make the 1 billion in savings. Moving on to our third section, Ahmed will present section 3, focusing on recommendations, implementation plan. Thank you.
Hi, this is Ahmed and I'm presenting the recommendations, implementation plan, and the risk management. Starting from the recommendations, the group agreed on 5 ones. The first one is replacing the gas tracks to electronic ones. The second one is using AI as a smart software for efficient routings. The third is allowing customers to collect their packages at local stores. The fourth is generating renewable energy for warehouses. The fifth and last recommendation is provide training to drivers. Now, moving on to the implementation plan as shown in the Gantt chart. The step 1 is planning and approval. Step 2 is procurement. Step 3 is training and testing. Step 4 is the launch. Step 5 is the evaluation. Finally, the risk management, in which the group raised 5 risks, determining their solutions as shown in the slides in case any occurred. The first risk is the cost of the electric trucks is too high. The second risk is that the drivers don't like new technology. The third risk is that the charging station take too long to charge the electric trucks. Risk 4 is that the AI software has bugs. The fifth and last risk is that the weather may affect electric tracks. Thank you.
And that concludes our presentation. We thank you very much for your attention. For any additional references, you can view the sources cited on the subsequent slides. Thank you very much.